Hi, this is Fred Barstein with 401k TV. We just completed a TPSU program at the University of Shady Grove. And I'm here with Deborah Waldman. And she's agreed to answer a few questions with us today. So Deborah, why don't you introduce yourself?
You bet. As you indicated, Deborah Waldman. I'm Director of Human Resources for Snyder Cohn. We are a public accounting firm of about 73 people.
Great. So, okay if we ask you a few questions today?
Of course.
Thank you. So you just went through a fairly extensive benchmarking. Was it an RFP or just a benchmarking program?
It was an RFP process.
It was an RFP process, and it sounded like it was very successful, and want to talk to you a little bit about that process and the outcome, too.
Yes, it was successful.
So how did you go about it? Did you get some help? How did you start?
We started with, we have a financial advisor that we have worked with. I have been through the RFP process a number of times in my career, and so I'm familiar with it. I know the questions I want to ask, and so in conjunction with a financial advisor, we put together our questions. They actually put out recommendations of people we may want to consider, providers we may want to consider. We narrowed the field, and then they did the contact and made sure that all of my questions were answered.
And how long did that process take from start to finish?
You know, it was not that long. I would say maybe 6 weeks.
A 6-week process?
6 to 8 weeks.
And did you bring in finalists and interview them?
You bet,
Yeah.
you bet.
How many finalists did you bring in?
We had 4.
And how many did you start with that you got responses for?
I think it was about 8.
8. So you whittled it down to. Now, the people that came to the finals, were those the people you ended up working with, or were they different people?
Good question. The people that we chose, it was a combination. One was kind of the salesperson, and the other was the day-to-day contact there,
right,
that we work with.
And did you ask that question during the finals? Are these the people I'm going to work with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the one you chose actually brought, did the others bring the person?
One of the others did.
Yeah. So that was a big part of it.
It showed a thought process that appealed to me.
Plus you got to know and see, am I comfortable?
Exactly.
So during this process, along with finding, sounds like a good vendor, record keeper, how did it affect your fees?
Actually, our fees came down. Part of that was part of a consolidation process, because going into this, we actually had 3 vendors. We had the investment provider, we had a TPA administrator, and then we had a financial advisor. We took out the middleman, the TPA.
I see.
So that was part of it, but we also did a fee comparison by the investment choices also.
I see.
And so as we did not choose the lowest, but probably the second to the lowest with the best platform overall in terms of service. And fees was part of it.
Sure. And so now looking back, if you were going to talk to yourself before you started this process, what is the one recommendation you would make on how you would do it differently or better or more efficiently?
Boy, you know, I was very happy with the process. I'm not sure I would have done anything differently. One thing that we really did well, I think, was in the interviewing process, really ask about what it would look like in terms of the transition and what to anticipate in the communication. And so, if anything, it would be more around give me as much information as you can around the communication process.
Right.
Because it's the biggest impact on our participants. So it's really making sure that we had all those pieces nailed down.
So focuses on employee communication.
You bet.
That's great.
You bet.
So one final question, TPSU, what do you think of it and would you recommend it?
It was a great experience. I'm really, you know, anytime I go into courses, I always wonder, am I going to get anything of value from the time I spent? And as I get older, the time is even more valuable. So this was a day well spent. I really came to get new ideas or trends. I got some. I'll be taking them back with me. And I'm very, very happy to have come here. And yes, I would recommend this in a heartbeat.
Great. Well, thank you for your time today.
Oh, you bet. You bet. It was worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you.